Hi, everyone. As we start week one, I'd like to go over the portfolio project instructions because you're going to be using these instructions for the entire semester. So I'm going to go through the scenario, through the requirements, and then week by week, and also just touch base upon the reflection that you're going to have to submit as well as the rubrics. The portfolio project instructions, like every class you've had at Bryan and Stratton that's had one, they're only posted in week one. So even though there's something due each week, you always have to refer to week one for the instructions. So I highly recommend printing these out. I know that might be a little old school. Maybe not all of us have a printer, but I always say to print them out and just keep them on your desk or with your course materials that you have already. So let's go ahead and get started. So the scenario here you can read, but essentially you are going to take on the role of a digital marketing consultant and you are going to help your client with their web analytics strategy. The client wants to enhance their website to drive their goals, and it's your job to provide a basic analytics framework for the client so that they can build their own digital marketing plan from it. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at the needs and goals of the company's website. And then as the consultant, you are going to provide the client with KPIs, web analytics reports that you would use for the website. KPIs are going to be discussed more in depth in the lecture material, and you may have heard of key performance indicators in other digital marketing courses. These are different than metrics in a way, and I will be posting another article about the difference between KPIs and regular metrics. You are also going to be creating a summary dashboard, and you're going to be putting this all together in a Word doc with the essay parts of the project included as well. So the first submission that you are going to do is you're going to choose your company and then create a summary and identify your KPIs. So you are going to choose a company from this list. There are 5 companies that you can choose from. Please stick to this list. You are also going to write an introduction on the company. This is going to be in paragraph format. You are going to give me a brief background of the company. You're going to talk about the products or services that the company sells, and you're going to talk about their sales and marketing goals. You're obviously not going to know what the company's sales or marketing goals are in real life, but you can infer this from their website. I worked as a marketing manager for 2 years for Applebee's. If I looked at the Applebee's website right now, I could infer what type of goal they have right now when it comes to specials, promotions, the products that they're focusing on, just based on what they're showcasing and what prices they're highlighting, discounts they're focusing on. So look for those cues on their website and then discuss those goals. Next, you are going to choose 2 effective and 2 ineffective KPIs for this company based on those goals that you have identified. You can choose the KPIs you've learned about during our lecture, and those include things like conversion rate, bounce rate, market segmentation. I will also give you a list of additional KPIs, and I want you to tell me in detail why the first 2 would be effective and why the other 2 you've chosen are ineffective. So you are going to be listing 4 KPIs, 2 effective, 2 ineffective, and then giving me a description for each of them as to why you consider them effective or not, why they're aligned with strategy or they're not. This is going to be in a Word doc. The next week, we are going to compare and contrast 5 different web analytic reports. Looking at these different reports, you are going to determine which 3 would be best for the company to use when measuring and tracking the 2 effective KPIs you chose the week before. For all 3 of those reports, you are going to discuss each metric you would monitor and why. So for example, on a keyword report, what metrics would you monitor on a keyword report to see if you're fulfilling a keyword related KPI? Here's another example here. we were looking at a conversion behavior report. What would we want to look at? Conversion rate, the time it took to make the conversion. Again, week 4 is going to be in an essay format. Week 5. Week 5 is going to be the summary dashboard. This is the last part of the project that you're going to create. The dashboard is going to lay out the information your client may need to understand what you're recommending with the KPIs and what reports they should focus on. You are also going to come up with 3 recommendations for the company's website based upon the KPIs you've chosen. I have an example here. So if I chose the KPI of increasing conversions, one of my website suggestions could be that we want to make it easier to purchase the product. Maybe we want to add more calls to action. Maybe we want to make sure that all of our main CTAs are above the fold. If we never had a button above the fold, maybe we want to put one up there now so we can drive that conversion more. Your dashboard needs to include the 2 effective KPIs you chose, just the effective KPIs. Those 3 strategies you're recommending for them. That's that new portion this week. In addition, I want you to tell me what would be the impact of those 3 recommendations. So if I am going to be making my CTA higher on my page, I'm going to put a button above the fold. What's the business impact going to be? Hopefully, it's going to be more clicks to the page that it would lead to. Hopefully, it would drive the conversion rate as well. And it would also probably build more awareness because I would be focused on my CTA. So let's say my call to action was to get someone to buy a certain product. I would probably have some sort of header text, an image, maybe a banner about that product. So I wouldn't just be driving conversions. I would also be having a whole section to drive the conversion, and that would be building product or brand awareness as well. That would be the business impact of that strategy that I'm recommending. You also need to put the 3 web analytic reports with the specific metrics that you had in the week prior into your dashboard, and also the opportunity cost of not executing a web analytics strategy. So an opportunity cost is simply the cost of missing an opportunity. So what would your client miss out on if they didn't take the opportunity of using your strategy? I have a link here where you can read more about web analytics and how that relates to opportunity costs. So how do you create the dashboard? I have a recommendation here. If you have a program like Canva, you're welcome to use that as well. But if you do not want to make a free Canva account or you don't have a Canva Pro account, which is not necessary for this class, but in case you have one, I recommend just using a PowerPoint. You can create a single slide in PowerPoint and use text boxes and shapes to create a dashboard. To preserve the formatting when you send it to me and you submit it via Blackboard, you're going to want to save it as a PDF. I do have PowerPoint on my computer, so if you forget to save it as a PDF, that's fine. But when you save it as a PDF, it does preserve the formatting. So if you used a custom font or you laid it out a certain way and want to ensure that I see it the way that you designed it, that's the best method of saving. This is an example of what a summary dashboard looks like in real life. Here's another one. But we're not creating anything with charts and graphs and numerical data. We're literally just creating a dashboard that has text information in it. But we want to lay it out as a dashboard because in this course, we want to get you familiar with just dashboard layouts in general. Typically, dashboards are going to look like this. This is the layout for your portfolio project dashboard. If you follow this exact example, you will have every single part covered. Purpose, the company impact, the opportunity cost, the 3 recommendations, reports, monitoring, KPIs, and I always say to put the company logo at the top. Also, for fun, go ahead and brand it to match. If you're doing Applebee's, not sure if they still use these colors, but they had kind of a burnt reddish color, and they used a lot of grays and blacks, and their logo obviously has the apple. Use the logo, and maybe you can use those colors so that it still keeps the same vibe as their branding. Week 6. For week 6, you are going to go ahead and you are going to submit the draft. In week 7, you are going to submit the final submission. In week 6, I will leave comments if there are any adjustments you need to make. Please make sure you do those before you go ahead and submit in week 7. If you get 100 in week 6, though, go ahead and just pop that into ePortfolio. You are good to go. If you need instructions on how to submit to ePortfolio, I can post those on the course announcements. One note here is your entire portfolio project should be in one Word document. So you need to include your entire Word doc, the essay, and you also need to include that summary dashboard. You're going to upload your portfolio project with this naming convention. And then also you're going to go ahead and you are going to choose this as your outcome. You also have a reflection. We're almost done with the instructions. They're long. The final piece is going to be the reflection. The reflection for this project is just a Word document. Make sure it's 1 to 2 pages in length. You are going to answer these 2 prompts. You want to analyze the importance of this project to your future career. So how can summary dashboards, analytics, strategies, and KPIs impact your future career? And then also, you want to talk about how the project meets the program and institutional outcomes. The program and institutional outcomes for this project are going to be listed right up here at the top. Program outcome is here, and the institutional outcomes are there. Down at the bottom here, we also have the rubric for both the project and the reflection. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and post them in the Ask Your Instructor forum. And if you have any additional questions that I haven't answered there, or you feel more comfortable, you can just email me at dnbusella@bryantstratton.com.